It's your man D-Real. One of the things you may hear me say more often than not is that perspective is everything. Not just in the world of comics and fantasy, but in life. I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about in a second. Be real with D-Real. What up, y'all? It's your man D-Real, and edutainment is what I do. Welcome to another Be Real with D-Real. I won't be before you too long because this is just sort of a conversation, sort of an introspective thing that I was having this week. Before I get off into what I'm going to get off into, I want to say first, please, pretty please, with sugar on top, like, comment, and subscribe to the Be Real with D-Real page if you're digging what I'm shoveling. There's a little watermark in the corner that you can hit to subscribe to the Be Real with D-Real page, and you will get alerts when new material is up. Now, back to the lecture at hand. Perspective. The way you view things, the way I view things, and the way they are perceived. I'll use an example that a fresh example, fresh off the top. I was having an interaction with an individual on social media, and everything was going cool, smooth. We chopping it up, he, ha, ha, and yay, hooray, all of that. And then this individual asked if I was from the Midwest. Naturally, of course, everybody who knows me knows that answer is yes. I'm born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. And I also expressed the fact that I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. Okay, that would have been cool conversation in any other circle, but it just so happens the individual I was talking to was a proud member of the First Nation. She's an indigenous person. And immediately when I said that, she was like, no, it all sucks. I hate it. You blah, blah, blah. You better be joking. And I'm like, I didn't understand where she was coming from and where all of that rage out of nowhere just flared out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, maybe. And I was under the impression, as I am sure many people are, Chief is not a derogatory term. It is a term used to describe the leader of a group of people in indigenous terms. However, the offense, as I later discovered, is not necessarily with the term chief as it is with the appropriation of the term chief. Who does and doesn't have the right to use the term chief? From an indigenous person's point of view, a fire chief, well, that's okay because you're referring to the leader of a fire department. But if you're saying chief as in reference to indigenous people, some indigenous people, if not most indigenous people, find that offensive. I was born and raised in Kansas City. Like I said, grew up in Kansas City all my life. That's all I've ever known. To me, it wasn't anything derogatory. It's what I grew up with. What I grew up seeing, she's like, the colors are all wrong. The whole scheme is wrong. It's just offensive. It's all offensive. I understand using derogatory terms to describe indigenous people. But when you're not aware that you're using a derogatory term, is that ignorance? If you're not aware something you're doing is wrong, Is it still wrong? I had to think about that. And that's why I say perspective is everything. You know, I have to stop and catch myself now in when I'm having conversations with people. You know your audience, whether I'm sitting in front of a camera talking to you, whether I'm on social media, or whether I'm in person having a conversation with somebody. Know your audience. Know who you're talking to. And very much in the same way, I will bring this back around to Be Real with D-Real so it makes sense to you. When we talk about the Black Panther sequel, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I was listening to one of these little rumor mills, you know, and that's what I call them. I call them rumor mills. You know, I ain't gonna call out no particular names, but they're the larger movie review outlets on YouTube and on social media in general that have a ton of following. And when I look at these pages, all I see is speculation on a particular subject, hypotheses on a particular subject, parading around as fact. These particularly copious subscriber holding outlets stated that there was conversation. Martin Freeman, one of the actors, the one of two Caucasian actors in the movie Black Panther, and is returning for Wakanda Forever. Okay. Said that he had seen the plot or the story to Wakanda Forever, and it seems odd. And the way this media outlet was trying to spin the term odd was like maybe odd isn't a bad thing. It could be odd like different. It could be odd like, oh, I don't think the crowd's going to be ready for that. Okay. That was Martin Freeman's perspective of what was going on with that situation. That's how he interpreted odd, or rather, to be more accurate, that the media outlet interpreted Martin Freeman's odd meaning to be, or it could be odd a good thing. Or when you're trying to spin something a certain way, that's how it felt to me. It felt like a spin, because from my perspective, I don't see it as being odd because of what's going on with the plot. I see it as being odd because you're calling the movie Black Panther Wakanda Forever and T'Challa is not in it. That's almost kind of an oxymoron. Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Okay, there'll be a Black Panther, I'm sure. You wouldn't call the movie Black Panther and not have any Black Panther whatsoever in it, would you? When I had that conversation with that indigenous person, I had to step outside of myself and say, let me look at that from that person's perspective. Do people at studios and movie companies, places like that, does Kevin Feige, do you think he's looking at that from a perspective of what do these people think about this? And the decision to not recast T'Challa, is that based on someone else's perspective, or is it based on dollar bill, y'all? And even if it is based on dollar bill, y'all, they ain't gonna make no money off of this movie, not no billion. They're not gonna make $1 billion off of it. I will go Joe Namath on that. I guarantee Wakanda Forever will not make $1 billion. If it's wrong, I will retract right here. But that's how confident I am that I don't think that movie's going to make $1 billion, because number one, premise is weird. You know, you're using words like odd to describe it. You know, if it was a wonderful thing, why don't you just say wonderful? If it was an amazing plot you read about, why didn't you just say amazing? If it was a good plot, why do you say good? Why choose the word odd? When you say odd, the way it sounds like Martin Freeman was saying odd is how people from the South say, oh, bless your soul. Oh, bless your heart. And maybe that's just my perspective, but I got a right to my perspective, right? And it just there's still too much cloak and dagger around this for me to be comfortable with it. It's so much to the point where I done gave up trying to be comfortable with it. I ain't comfortable with Wakanda forever. I'll never be comfortable with Wakanda forever because Wakanda forever isn't Wakanda forever. It's someone's perspective of Wakanda forever, not necessarily mine. That's the wonderful thing about having your own opinion. You can just say, this is how I feel, and that's the end of it. So, how I feel is uh, the Black Panther franchise will not be the Black Panther franchise until they have a T'Challa in their franchise. Period. Point blank. Still here all day, every day. Recast T'Challa. Recast T'Challa or else. Recast T'Challa still. We gonna be on your bumper. Okay? My 2 cents worth. Be real with D Real. Comment, like, and subscribe to the page. Again, the little watermark down below. Comment, like, and subscribe with the little watermark down below, and you will get alerts when new material comes out. That's my time, gangsters. Y'all be good and be good to each other. And remember, perspective